There was this thing, I was looking at my videos in the past about the hillbilly Illuminati. So, I wanted to make, another video because the Bloodlines of the Illuminati book, it just kind of ended the whole entire thing where they stopped talking about the Illuminati. And, let me tell you, man, they do ritual sacrifices. And Nicki Minaj be talking about how the satanic celebrities be doing ritual sacrifices is real. Like satanic stuff. But say you're a witch and you're looking at the rituals of the Illuminati. There was this witch named Fred. Fred liked to play on Google, and he ended up getting a manual of the Illuminati rituals. Then he tried to do some of them. He tried to do some of the rituals. And something happened. He had a statue in his house, and he was never seen again. And he had this whole house had a bunch of little messages all over his house. And it was a week where he was just doing it from the computer, from the manual he got from the computer. And something happened to that dude. It was weird. And that's the last time I saw Fred. And Fred is out there, but nobody knows where he's at. Something happened to Fred. And the Illuminati's, the Bloodline book, the Illuminati, let me tell you a secret. One time I had to go to this place, and it was owned by DuPont. DuPont, which is one of the families of the Illuminati bloodlines. And it's fucking weird, man. Fucking weird. DuPont. And that's what I could tell y'all, man. Once they were funded by the Illuminati bloodline, and I didn't even know it. I just saw the thing and said DuPont. And then it was the place, the other name, which is the real name of the place. And it was funded. And I started having to be there for about 3 days, and I got really sick. And I got really sick, and I didn't even know why I got sick. But as I was there, I started realizing that they were doing weird shit inside the place. And I was then I realized it was owned by the Illuminati bloodline. I was fuck. When I went in there, there was this lady, probably 5 hours later, first time I went into that building, there was a woman that came out and yelled my name. She said, "Ruben! Ruben!" Really angry. It was a blonde hair woman. She was upset that I was in the place. In the place where her family owned the facility, the place, the building. I don't know what it was. She was mad. And everybody got quiet, but nobody said anything. And it's fucking weird, man. Those people are assholes. The Bloodline family, DuPont, Rockefeller, all those people, they're fucking assholes. Don't ever let you, these musicians, they do these ritual sacrifices, folks. Let me get back to the thing about the Illuminati and the rituals. So they do these rituals, these celebrities alongside the Illuminatis. And sometimes the locals, they try to become members, people outside of the organization. they try to become members of the Illuminati through the rituals. And the rituals get weirder and weirder and weirder. And so, like, there was this people that were doing the rituals, and they it was fucking weird, man. But like, it's like, like those Disney actresses that be having, like, on Disney and stuff like that they're actors, and they just end up being like famous actors later on and starring in the movies that you like. Well, they partake of the Illuminati rituals of sacrifice. But nowadays, it doesn't even look like they're trying to do the rituals. It looks like something else. And the problem is that they caught one of them working with the government of the United States of America. And something weird happened with the politicians in Washington, D.C. That was back in 2018. And even to this point, when they elected Joe Biden to be president of the United States, everybody was really quiet then, because they realized they might have a member of the Illuminati. And there was one time Joe Biden said to the screen in front of 1,000 people, he said, "You're not one of us." He said that to somebody in the chat room. And he was talking to people in the chat room, and he was talking as like an Illuminati, speaking in codes. Like in code, like a coded language. Some people understood what he was saying. Some of them didn't. They were just looking at Joe Biden like, what the fuck is he talking about? And and that would happen with a bunch of politicians making speeches. And ever since they introduced the Illuminati into the government, like full blown, like parasitic, it started taking over the whole entire government of the United States of America. And that's my take. But it's for real, man. These families like DuPont, Rothschild, Rockefeller. If I were ever to enter a building owned by the Illuminati, they might as well kick me out. Because, well, back then I wasn't making videos, but I really pissed them off one time. The Illuminati, that they were they don't try to show themselves, folks. They really like to hide in the shadows. But whenever you get one yelling at you and telling you a bunch of bullshit, like one that's about to come out of the shadows, that almost happened to me. I almost saw like an Illuminati that was fixing to come at me and tell me stuff, like yell at me. Because I stepped into their place. And I don't want to talk about where I stepped into, but it's like I stepped into something that they owned. And this happened to me with a bunch of places, folks. And when I step into those places, man, I remember the rituals that they do on the people. That, if an Illuminati owns like a business, corporation, or has any dealings with any sort of organization, then you already know that some crazy bullshit is about to happen in that place. And when you see these celebrities doing these ritual sacrifices, then you're like, oh my God, they're with the Illuminati. They're gonna dress in red. They're gonna dress in red. and they're gonna come up with symbols, and they're gonna use mind control on the people. That's what they do. They use mind control on the people. One time, and I hate to say it, I saw a town being mind controlled, full-blown mind controlled, and nobody would do anything about it. Nobody. No government, nobody would even interfere with the whole town being mind controlled by the Illuminati. And that's what happened. It's real, folks. In the United States of America, there's a bunch of things going on. But like, I was told not to talk about what I saw, what happened to a town that was being mind controlled by the Illuminati. But like, I'm not a member, so I just say whatever I say because I'm not a member of any organization like that. And like, so they really need to update that book. The Bloodlines of Illuminatis. They really need to do it because let me tell you about the town that was being mind controlled. It was fucking weird. So when it was being mind controlled, the town, and I was living in the town, somebody told me and sent me a message that said it's time to leave the town before things get weird. And I was like, no, I'm just gonna stay here. And then I saw the mind control. And let me tell you, everybody, I'm telling you, thousands of people were being mind controlled. Like every TV, every broadcast in the town was being manipulated. Every radio station, news outlet was being manipulated by the Illuminati. And like, even the music, man, everything. I was looking at it. And like as I said, I had one of them try to yell at me, try to come out of the shadows. She never came out of the shadows because those people, they tend to stay in the shadows. That's what they do. They stay in the shadows. But they almost came out and said, Ruben! They started yelling at me, man. It was fucking weird. They wanted to start yelling. And like I was saying, I was talking about that town, man. Man, it's 100 degrees out here. And I'm over here trying to make a video. But like, I would never forget when they mind controlled a bunch of people out here. There was people from another country that they had spies from, and they said, when they started the war over there, they started doing the same things that you were, as I was seeing in the town. They started doing the same things. He said the Illuminati is an organization that's trying to take over the world, and like a lot of people don't understand, but it's the power of the elite. Really, it is the power of the elite. I saw like these people that live in the suburbs being mind controlled, and whenever an Illuminati does anything, it automatically turns into a cover-up. Everything is covered up by the whole entire government because the government is too scared to get into problems with the Illuminati, especially the United States. They wouldn't even try to get involved with anybody who was in the Illuminati And like, but like as I said, as I was saying, man, is weird. I saw this woman being mind controlled here in the United States. She was like blonde. She was blonde, folks, and she was white. It was like mostly white people being mind controlled in the town that I used to live in. And I saw it and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck is going on with that person? They were acting like robots. Like robots. I wish I could explain it more and give you more of an idea of what I'm saying when I say that I saw a person acting like a robot. But like, you know, I feel if I explain too much, it's just kind of gonna get like, you know, it's gonna get less likes on my YouTube channel. You know, I'm gonna get less views and stuff like that.